Surprise, motherfucker! Hey, what's up? This is Venger Satanis, and today's video is about catchphrases. I've had a few different questions that I wanted to bring up, written down. So let's go through them. Okay. So game master versus player catchphrases. I assume I have catchphrases as a game master. I have things that I think are witty or interesting or funny or poignant that I say from time to time, from game to game, and I guess those could be considered catchphrases. And I assume players, not every player, but a lot of players have their own catchphrases, either for a particular character or maybe it's based on the player and the player themselves, no matter what character they're playing, has these certain catchphrases that they use. Maybe they're used in a humorous way, just for comedy relief, or maybe they're intended to create, characterization depth. So I'm very interested in what you guys have to say about that. If you're a player, what catchphrases would you usually use, or what have you used before, and under what circumstances? And if you're a game master, same thing. Are there certain things that you're known for saying as a game master that you like to say a lot? Does that help you run the game? Is that just part of who you are, just as a person, or is it part of your game master persona? And I'm going to be talking more about game master personas in another video. My last video was about that, and it's a very intriguing topic. But before I make another video on the GM persona or personas, I wanted a little more experience under my belt because that's kind of a new thing that I've been looking at that I haven't really before. And in order to be self-aware and self-conscious enough to speak on it intelligibly, I would like to have more experience. I would like to, but I'm going to run another game, I think, this coming week, and maybe on the weekend. These are just going to be shorter roll 20, 90-minute games, one shots, text only, probably. So anyway, be on the lookout for those. If you want to be kept up to date, follow my blog, Venger's Old School Gaming Blog. Put the link in the description down there. That was weird. And also on Twitter, Facebook, where else? MeWe. Get a hold of me on there, or follow what I'm doing, and be kept up to date. Okay, what else we got? Organic versus artificial and intentional. So, when you use catchphrases, do they organically come up, or do you think ahead of time, like, well, I need a catchphrase, and so I'm going to start thinking of like what I can say, or you latch onto something that you've heard before? Is it some of each? I would assume in most games where catchphrases are prevalent, there's both. Some are more organic; they just happen naturally. They just spontaneously, something funny happens, or you start saying something, and then it applies in other situations, and so you use it again, and it becomes a catchphrase. Versus maybe like a comedian or something like that, like a stand-up comic that would intentionally create a catchphrase for themselves, that they can use over and over again as part of their routine, as part of their shtick. Let's see. Okay, I got one last thing. Does it make the game better With the catchphrase use, does it not make really a difference? Do you think it makes the game worse? Are you one of these people that recognizes that catchphrases do exist in games, but they're not as good? It makes the game less fun, less immersive, because that's how in the Venger verse we determine the value of a role playing game experience. It's based on immersion. If it feels immersive, then it is by definition a good game or a better game than one that is less immersive. Um, I don't know if that's by and large universally true for everyone, but I think that's kind of like a hidden font of wisdom that a lot of gamers don't recognize. Maybe they don't want to admit it. But I would take a more immersive role playing game um, experience or session or campaign over one that's less immersive because that's the reason we play. I mean, that's why we gravitate to role playing as opposed to other hobbies and interests and pursuits that are just as fun or more fun. You go to role playing games for the immersion. If you just want a fun, relaxing, science fiction experience, then just go watch Star Wars, or some other science fiction TV show or movie or whatever. But if you want immersion, then I mean, what else can you do besides role playing games that's going to be as immersive? That's going to make you feel like you're in a world or that you are this character in a setting, in a genre, and you get to do all these things and experience what it's like to, be a wizard in some sort of pseudo medieval kingdom, or a Star Knight in a space opera role playing game, or an investigator looking for the Cthulhu mythos and whatever, and like Call of Cthulhu or something like that, some sort of cosmic horror game. Anyway, I've kind of meandered past the point of this video, which, coming back to it, is about catchphrases. So if you have something to say about catchphrases or really anything else that I've said in this video, please comment down below. And, like, subscribe, share, all that other good stuff. I'm going to try to do another video in a day or two. I don't like to go too long between videos, but sometimes I'm really busy or my creativity dries up because it's being used elsewhere. I'm in the middle of, I'm past the middle. I'm actually on the verge of finishing the first draft of the mega dungeon Cremza'amirikza'am. And that's exciting because that's another 111 room or encounter mega dungeon for the third book of the Chult trilogy, Chult Chartreuse Shadows. So I'm excited to have that first draft done, and then we're going to go through it again probably a few more times and tweak things, make things more connective. Connective tissue is really the thing that separates Cremza'amirikza'am from something like the Black Pyramid, which is another mega dungeon in Chult. But the Black Pyramid is, each room is separate. I mean, some contents or the inhabitants of some rooms might know what's going on in other rooms, but there's very little connective tissue between the different rooms. And I did that intentionally because I wanted every room to be its own kind of little set piece, its own tableau, disassociated from the rest, contextually speaking. But Cremza'amirikza'am has all those connective tissues. So it's not like the Black Pyramid. Even though separate things might be going on here or there is most likely a connection between them, thematically, narratively, etc. So it's very exciting, and it means I have to go back several times and fuse certain parts together, and create little details sprinkled throughout that echo back, one thing or another, or one thing leads into another. One storyline connects with something else in a similar way. So it's not all disconnected. I want there to be connections. That's why the connective tissue metaphor works so well. Anyway, that's enough for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.